Hello, students. Welcome to Ganviar School of Education, Suresh Ganviar University. I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal, and today I will be teaching you about the development stages of learner in the subject Psychology of Teaching and Learning. So, students, my learning objective of today's class is about to identify the physical, cognitive, and psychosocial characteristics of learners that influence learning at various stages of growth and development. And at the end of the class, you will also be able to know and recognize the role of the teacher as an educator in assessing stage specific learner needs according to the maturation levels of the students. You will also be able to determine the role of the family in education in the different stages of development. You will also be able to discuss the appropriate teaching strategies effective for learners at different developmental stages. All right, students. So now we are understanding about developmental stages. So it is really very important for everyone to understand what is the development first of all. So by development, we really take such terms, or we can define the development through the concept that when the baby is born, when a baby is born, then something or something new or happening is exciting very every day. So students, not just seemingly major events, but like rolling or just speaking small words and taking first brave step also. So these are something related to development, but other tiny things that may not seem like milestones, smiling, cooing, even crawling out of the crib. These seemingly random acts are all fall into timeline that marries up with the stages of child development. So, students, it is really very important for all of us to understand that how the development is really very important for the beginners, for the teachers, for the learners, because if we are not able to understand in what process, in what stages the child is developing, because each child is ultimately carrying a certain characteristic, and that characteristic is entirely related to the child's upbringing and child's growth and development, and it will also affect the learning level of the student. So it is really very important for the teacher as well as the students to learn or to be aware about the stages, different developmental stages of the learner. So this is like during your routine or regularly scheduled visits, when you go to the classroom and you teach, you might be feeling that it's all right, it's a normal routine, but believe me students, that there are many students of individual differences, in they may be different in any case, because when we are talking about development, so development is not only a one concept, it is actually the cumulative sort of concept which is combining various things. So what are those various things? I'm going to explain it to you in detail. So what are the areas of development? So first of all, let's understand, then we will be talking about stages of development. All right, students. Now, so normal development refers to learning and mastering skills in four categories. So, majorly, when we are talking about development, so it comes in our mind, that is physical, emotional, mental, and social. For learning purpose, I generally call it and give this sort of abbreviation to my students, that is PMSE: physical, mental, social, and emotional. So, although separately categorized, they are linked and occur simultaneously at each stage. So, you can't say that if we are developing now physically, so we are not having any emotional, mental, or social skills. No, it would be somehow wrong. So let's understand how these areas develop altogether and how they work in an effective way when all the areas are developed in a proper way. So first of all, let's understand physical area. So physical area is including when we are talking about physical development. So what does that mean? So it includes broad motor skills such as include rolling over, standing, walking, running, and sitting, as well as being able to maintain balance, change positions, etc. Physical also including fingers, hands to clutch, eat, draw, dress, play, write, etc. So remember, students, that when a child takes birth, the child is totally dependent on the parents, or first of all on the mother. The child cannot actually keep even his head straight. So there is so much flexibility and there is no development physically, although the child was growing inside the womb for 9 months, but after that, now gradually these areas will also be developed. So in physical development, when we are talking about it, so the first year of the child is very very important, as the maximum growth and development takes in this first year of anybody's life. So this is how, including physical area of development. Now let's understand emotional skills. So what are the emotional skills? First of all, understand, students, that emotional means emotions. It has come from the word emotion, and it has come from the Latin word immover. Immover means to stir up. So what we are stirring up, so whatever we are feeling, whatever the thoughts we are having, we are stirring up and we are showing it up in through our behavior, what we are feeling, how we want anything in a certain way. So these are all the emotions that we are connecting to. So students, understand that emotional skills include how the baby or how the child reacts to events or occurrences, how the person is behaving in a certain situation. So it is like that when the child is actually laughing, smiling, giggling, so this is something that child is enjoying and the feeling is somehow developing. So when you are away from the child, how does the child feel? When you are with the child, how does the child feel? So these are the important things at the beginning level. But as the child matures, then the child learns to deal with the more important events, more important activities in the life throughout. So this is really very important to get emotions well developed in the children, so that they can face the challenges of life in a very good manner. All right, so these were the two areas of development that we have just discussed now: physical and emotional. Now let me introduce you with the area of mental development. Yes, it is mental development, and all of you must have studied about Bloom's taxonomy, students. So Bloom's taxonomy, first part, cognitive part, is related to mental. Affective part was related to emotional skills, and psychomotor was related to physical. So now mental part, that is the first part, cognitive, that means it is including thinking, learning, understanding, uh, problem solving, reasoning, and remembering. Much of this will be revealed in academic settings such as preschool or beyond. So, when we are talking about mental development, students, so mental development is something that is giving lots of opportunity to the student in a different way. That how the child is learning, or how the child is behaving in the classroom situation, whatever the situation is here, is the child is uh, showing his all appropriate behavior in a particular situation? Is he able to think in a logical way? Is he learning? Is he understanding the concepts, whatever you are teaching to him? So this is how it is showing the mental development of the child. So students, it is really very important for all of us to understand how this mental level is actually should be enhanced, or it should be shaped up in a proper way. Clear, students? So now let's understand next, that is about social skills. So social skills is actually related to society. Socially, we have to be very tuned up, or we have to be well versed with our society members also. We have to be do personal interactions, developing, maintaining relationship with family members, teachers. So all these developing of relationship is actually included in social skills, and being sensitive while responding to others, what to say and what not to say according to the occasion, that's really involves in social skills. Does is there any particular behavior of the child that you are noticing during some particular situations, that the child is being away from the society, the child doesn't want to go to the society function or anything? So this is how we have to be very particular about the social skills also and social development. So there are, again, I would tell you again and again, students, that there are some children that who enjoy being social. That means they love being around of the people. But another in another way, there are some children who don't want to be with any other member of the society. They want to be isolated, they want to be aloof. So that is actually also affecting their learning style. So this is how you have to take care while you are teaching your students, that how, what kind of personality they are having. Are they ready to involve with others? Are they ready to get adjusted easily, or they take some time? So this actually will affect their learning capabilities also. All right, students. So these were the areas of development that we have just discussed. Now I will introduce you with the stages, but before knowing about stages, let me tell you what are the stages. So for months, a child refuses to speak. Okay, all the tiny classmates and toddlers, when the child goes to the school in daycare, or are talking up of storm, and your child is just sitting there and listens, and you really wonder if there is a problem because the child is not responding. But then one day the child observes something, and that merits a dissertation, and you can't get over that the child hasn't stopped talking since. So learning to speak is considered a milestone in child's development. And just because the child started speaking later, then her everything means that there was some problem in speaking. So that's why child is not speaking. So this is how stages are actually interrelated with each other. So psychomotor is not here, and then anything else is not there. So this is how we are not actually taking care of the proper growth and development by that time. So there are many milestones according to the different stages of learning. So we have to be very particular about that. So now students, let's learn about the stages of development that we can see. First of all, let me introduce you with the prenatal period. Yes, this is the period. This is from conception to birth. And the inherited characteristics from the parents are also imparted during this period. Now, this is the time from conception to birth. That means the child is inside the mother, and the child is developing from fetus to a well developed baby. So, this is a prenatal period, and definitely heredity will play a very good role in imbibing the good characteristics in a child. All right, students, and this is a really very crucial and very important time for would be mothers to take care of their child in the womb with a lot of care. Now, next is the period of infancy or babyhood. So, this is the period, students, which continues from birth to 2 years. So, that means 0 to 2 years. So, basic physical and physiological behavior patterns begin to develop, such as rolling, crawling, sitting, and walking, laughing, taking solid food, controlling the elimination and waste, learning sex differences, etc. So just understand this is the time when the child is actually has taken birth, and 0 to 2 years is very important period when the child shows all the PMSA, which I have told you, physical, mental, social, and emotional kind of developments in his or her behavior. So gradually getting the balance over the body, and starting eating from liquid to solid. This is the main thing that happens in this area, in this age. So getting control and elimination of waste, also full toilet training of infancy or babyhood is the the child is understanding, I'm a girl, I'm a boy, so sex difference is also very clear. So this is from birth to 2 years. Now after that, baby begins to learn the rudiment of right and wrong. The child gets to know who is the family person and who is not. So this time you must have seen that many children are very much close to their parents, to their family members, but they are away from another strangers. So this is how this infancy period or postnatal period is very important for the development. Now, students, let's understand about early childhood. So, this early childhood is really a period, a stage, which is actually considered from birth to 6 years. So, this is considered early childhood. And this is the preschool stage, students. Although some parents are already taking their children to kindergarten stages, and this is the exploratory and inquisitive period. This is the stage when what we are calling early childhood actually full of curiosity. The child wants to learn about each and everything. Even the child sees if a new animal or a leaf, the child is very curious what it is. So many parents are keep answering at this stage, because this is really the inquisitive nature of stage. So exploratory kind of stage where the child actually wants to learn or explore so many things. Clear? Now let's discuss about late childhood. So late childhood is actually considered from 6 or 7 years to 11 years. So 6 years to 11 years are considered late childhood, and this is the elementary school period, students, where the child is learning some manual skills at home and in schools. So the basic things like reading, writing, arithmetic, language, etc. are mainly considered in late childhood period. So this is actually this time where the child is now exposed to another world also. The child is going to school. The child is having his own classmates. So, physical, mentally, and emotionally, and socially, the child is showing many characteristics. So, this is how the elementary school period is very important, because in this time, the manual skills are learned by the child. So, this is called late childhood period. Now, students, there comes puberty stage, which is considered 12 to 15 years. We can also call it adolescent stage. So, early high school period is this, and this is the stage when the urge of sex begins itself very rapidly. In fact, man at this stage is already capable of procreation. So, puberty stage is adolescent stage, and it is also in the words of Stanley Hall, it is a stage of storm and struggle, conflicts. So this is the time when the child is actually full of conflicts. What's going on inside? So this is really very important stage. Now this comes early adolescent puberty to 17 years, and this is late high school period. Some young people get married with this stage also, and rapid sex maturation occurs. So this is early adolescence stage. Then comes late adolescence, which is actually from 18 to 21 years old, and the process of development continues. And many physical, mental, social, and emotional kind of development goes on. Then early adulthood from 21 to 40 years. New life adjustment occurs such as courtship, marriage, parenthood, employment, recreational hobby, religious affiliation, etc. So this is the start of productive years where the adult person is actually entering into another phase of life, and he has learned lot many things and experienced enough, and now the family is starting. So parenthood is also enjoyed in this stage, so employment is very necessary. So all these things are really very necessary according to the stage. When one thing is missing in one particular stage, then it creates problem for the next stage. All right, so this is the start of productive years. Now here comes middle age. So middle age is from 40 to 65 years. And this year is actually the part of adulthood. So at this stage, man or maybe the woman must achieve most of their life aspirations in life, such as the man or woman, if they want to achieve anything in life, they must have got from this time. So they have established home, family, stable and lucrative employment as well, or business, creative achievement, even political achievement, whatever they wanted to achieve. So this is the stage, students, where the person is actually getting settled in the life, and whatever he is dreaming or she is dreaming of, the person is getting. So this is actually the time where the concluding lines can also be said about a person, that this has person has achieved this, and this person has achieved not achieved this. Now this period starts old age. Old age starts at 65 years old. And period of retirement, this is also called period of retirement. And but many people complain or claim that old age starts at 65 years old, but at this stage men and women are generally strong, energetic, and mentally alert. So this is how. But learning is a continuous process, and they never actually stop learning. This is continuous in their process. Still we can believe that there are many old people who are learning well than the youngsters in the either it is from the technological point of view, or how it is going to be with another case. So this is how that this old age starts with 65 years of old. But at this stage, men and women are generally strong, they want to live life in a different way. So mentally they are more and more alert, and they are giving their experiences to their next generations and youngsters also. Now students, this is the stage where 80 to 90 years old people are also here, and some ailments are that are the characteristics of old age, such as deafness occurs by this time, falling failing eyesight, eyes become weak. Then forgetfulness is also there due to some old age factors, and baldness is also there, hair get lost. Then arthritis, senility, and loss of cognitive ability is also found in this stage. So this is how this age characterizes these all characteristics in this particular period. I hope you are understanding about different stages and its related characteristics. Now it's important, students, that you all must understand that how children learn at different stages of development. We have seen prenatal stage, then we have seen postnatal stage or early infancy. Then we have also seen about childhood stage, adolescent stage, adulthood stage, and then old age. So the main question is here that how the child learn, when we specifically we are talking about pre-primary stage or the childhood stage or adolescent stage. So how the child is learning, that's really very important. So children between 4 and 12 years old are really very different as language learners. So here we take a look at how children learn at different stages of development and how activities in the classroom need to address their cognitive, motor, language, and social development. See, students, it is really very important for you all as you are going to become teachers, and for prospective teachers, it is really very important to understand that each child is having different kind of personality. They are having individual differences. So you will be teaching them according to their individual differences as well. And each child has to develop their cognitive, affective, and psychomotor skills. So different stages of development actually lead to different types of development. So obviously children do not all fit neatly into categories, and their development will depend on their personality. So, maturity and previous learning experiences, you will no doubt recognize how your own student fit to your descriptions. So, when we are looking at the age groups that will be specifically we are discussing here, which we will be teaching, your teaching groups will be 4 to 6 years, 7 to 9 years, and 10 to 12 years old. So, separately, we are going to see what are the age characteristics of these particular groups and how these actually are taking care of. Teachers must take care in this type of developmental stage. So let's understand in a very detailed manner how this is going to happen. Now, first of all, we are going to discuss about 4 to 6 years old children. So 4 to 6 year old children, as we all know, pre-primary classes and early childhood stage. So this is actually the stage where the children are very innocent and very actually very small in their physical age also. So we have some characteristics and we have some implications and then need. So what is the need of this a 4 to 6 year old children, and what are the special characteristics and what are the implications? We are definitely going to discuss about it in a table form. So on your screen you can see a table that's given to you. So first of all, let's discuss that preschool or just beginning school. So this is the age characteristic of this 4 to 6 year old student. Okay, so now students, we are going to discuss how this is children of 4 to 6 years old are showing different characteristics. Just think in that way, that preschool or just beginning period, very small the stage kind of child is here, and this is a time when schooling is not exactly started, but here we are actually trying to give our child a good schooling. So, not used to classroom convention till now. The child is inside the home, and the child is not learning anything about the classroom situation, how he should behave in the classroom, how he should be actually sitting in the classroom, standing in the classroom, or talking in the classroom. So, this is the stage where the child is actually not knowing anything about the classroom situations, how the classroom is actually. So what is that? So the need of this stage is actually training in the class routines. The child is coming to the classes by time and seeing that going in uniform and eating lunch there when the bell rings, and being accustomed to the different teachers and during different periods and listening to teacher. This is actually the conventions of classrooms which a child is getting to learn gradually. Okay, students, so this is how preschool and just beginning school learners are here in front of us in this stage. The next characteristic is about limited motor skills. Yes, in this stage, we are not expecting our children who are only of 4 to 6 years old. We are not actually expecting them to be full-fledged psychomotor skilled, but they have just implications of clumsy control of pen. They are hardly actually seizures. They are handling it, but with a vibration in their hand, or they are just leaving it. So motor control is to be there, and it is to be actually still developed with proper training. So coloring, copying, these are all the things that are done at initial stages of learning, because the students learn better in that way. Just imagine those coloring books in your own school days when you used to do. So these are actually which are making your hand skills in a more good way. All right, so these are limited motor skills in this period, but it gets to develop when proper training is given. Then next characteristic is about learning holistically. So every child needs stimulation, students, and learning holistically, that opportunity to move, sing, play, explore, touch, etc. So if the child is learning in a flawless manner in a class, and the child is well informed about the conventions of the classroom, then the child is actually must be given lots of opportunity to move in the classroom, sing wherever it is required, and play, explore, touching, etc. So these are all the things which is making him more and more comfortable with the learning process, and the concepts are really very clear if the child is more active in this process. Now, next characteristics is that the child cannot distinguish between different parts of language. Cannot, this is the implication that child cannot analyze language. So the child needs to develop exposure. He has to be given to exposure to chunks of language, such chants, stories, classroom language. So the child is actually not aware how the poem is recited, how the story is narrated. So different parts of languages are not actually exposed to him. So this is the time where we are giving him exposure, that how the chunks of languages are used. So next is limited reading or writing skills in level 1. So the child is just starting, he's a beginner. So introducing reading, writing in English is very important. Learning alphabets and learning small words is really very essential at this stage. So what should be done in this stage? So by the teacher, lots of exposure should be given in listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, and activities must be there. So fun activities must also be introduced to the students, so that they are interested in understanding that to English letters and words. Then next thing, see, no need to communicate in English. So students use level 1 exclusively. They actually feel that there is no need to communicate in English language or any other language, because they are more comfortable in their own regional language or mother tongue. So when the teacher is giving them more and more opportunities in the classroom, in the playground, so in the chanting or in any sort of activity that the teacher is giving, the English exposure will also be given to them by this time, and their learning will be actually enhancing. Their capabilities will be enhancing. All right, now this is the time when the child shows his love to stories and fantasies. The children love listening to stories, so board with many topics. So this is the implication of the teacher, that when we are teaching them in a plain way, in a monotonous way, they will not learn anything. So the learning methodology would be involving some kinds of stories, fantasies, and fun activities, which will really enhance their development of all the four areas which we have discussed: physical, mental, social, and emotional. All right, students. Now, next we see the children of 7 to 9 years old. And in this section, you will find how 7 to 9 year children learn and they develop gradually. So let's understand about their characteristics, implications, and need one by one. So this is the time beginning to be logical and analytical. Yes, till now, till say age of 6 or 7, the child was actually getting exposed. Now the cognitive abilities are also being developed. The child is becoming little logical, and the child can see patterns, aware of language. Okay, this language is English, this is Hindi, this is Sanskrit, and the child is very much able to differentiate. And the child is able to see different patterns, how the teaching is done, how the patterns are evolving. But this is the time where opportunities to experiment must be done with the students, making our own chance. So this is how the students are learning, by experimenting. So as a teacher, you must give them lots of opportunities to understand what they are learning. Then this is the time when they ask lots of questions. In 7 to 9 years old children, they ask lots of questions. That means you need to answer them. Their curiosity level is very high. So the need of this stage is freedom to express themselves must be given and learn more than language. So that's really very important in this stage, that child must be given opportunities in the classroom, with peer group, in the games, anywhere, that the child is learning a lot when the child has been given the opportunities. Clear, students? Now, next characteristic is about reading and writing still minimal in level 1. So, somehow speaking and listening was enhanced in earlier level. But now in 7 to 9 year, we are focusing on reading and writing skill, and that is also not fully actually developed. So, what we need to do, we have to be very supportive and helping to the children in that case, and so that the child is practicing more and more. And there should be more success oriented activities must be organized by the schools, by the management, by the teachers, so that they are actually well versed with the reading and writing skills gradually. So this is really very important skill in learning the languages. So still have problems in sharing, this is dealing with adjustment problems. The child is actually coming from home, and many factors are affecting his behavior. But group activity is not always successful in this stage. So what a teacher should do, teacher should guide them properly to enhance their adjustment level or capacities, skills in a proper way. And teachers must also give them chances to work alone in their own way. Clear, students? Now next is about developing confidence to express themselves. Now these are the students, these are the learners, when they are actually developing their confidence level as well. So students will have views on what they want to do, talk about. So whatever they are actually having feeling, they are showing it in their behavior. They want to talk about at this stage. So they must be talking to their peer group, with their family members, or maybe with teachers. So this stage is something that they must be given more and more opportunities to mention their own opinions. What do they think in a particular situation? The next, students, we must see the characteristics that developing knowledge of the world around them. So this is the curiosity age, as I have already told you, that children are very curious. They want to know each and everything around them. So what is happening, and why it is happening, how, why, what, these are the type of questions that they want to know more and more around them, what is happening. So we often give them credit for, so but the need of this time is that chances to use what they know. So application of knowledge is also very important. So this is the stage when we are going to give them opportunities, so what they are telling and what they are actually feeling about something or someone. So this is the age that 7 to 9 years old children show in characteristics. Now let's understand the next stage, that is related to children 10 to 12 years, and that is the somehow the ending of childhood and beginning of adolescent. This is the stage where the children are learning more and more now. So Now if we see the characteristics, those now students are learning more and more, and the longer attention span is the main characteristic of this stage. Earlier they were easily distracted with the questions what, how, when. So these were the questions they were keeping distracting them. But now the longer attention span is there and greater range of activities possible in the class. So need of this age is to give them opportunities to engage in tasks that require focus and commitment as well. So this is really very important for teachers to give them lots of opportunities so that they can do different tasks with more focus and requirement, and their adjustment level will also be improved by them. Then knowledge of the world growing, this is the characteristic of this stage, and implication must be that more topics can be addressed by this stage. And this is somehow, if their attention level is increasing, then teacher is teaching them in different ways. So stimulation, for example, information from internet or cross curricular, the students are actually able to know how the different things are working in a classroom situation, or how around the world. So still children have need for security and pleasure. This is the high time when children feel insecurity also if they are not given proper time, proper safe environment. So this is actually the responsibility of parents as well as teachers to give them proper environment, safe environment, and this will only lead to them to be independent in their work. If they are not safe and secure in their environment, they will not be independent at all. So this is the need of this age, that they must be independent in doing their work, in doing the little work, as well as in their thinking pattern or thought patterns also. So more cooperative with fears, the peer group is also very important at this stage. And the children who are actually more and more with peer group, they are actually supposed to be more interactive and more helpful towards others. So this is how the more cooperative peer group is actually seen among the students. So students, this is the time when they can do more group work. They are playing, they are doing some fun activities, so more and more they are doing. So need of this age is related to variety of grouping in class, how you group them and how you take work from them. This is really very important. So work on their own in pairs, in group, as classes, so that has to be taken in consideration. Now next is we are talking about intellectual, motor and social skills developing. This is the time where all kinds of development are interrelated. At any stage it is interrelated, but this is a very crucial time where the intellectual, motor and social skills are highly developing. The child is learning, thinking, and child is learning to give reasons in a logical manner, as well as child is learning small work, how to do them. And the child is also learning how to behave with others, how to develop social skills around the person with him. So can be challenging more and more when in the situations. So this is the need of that age, that activities that challenge them must be organized by the teacher, if it is developing their social skill, intellectual skill, or moral skill, or motor skills. Now next is about developing own learning strategies. So this is how learning strategies is really very important, and this is the stage, students, where the child is actually developing his own learning style, and child won't all react in the same way to the same task or topic which you have taught him. So interests are being exhibited by the students in their own way. Maybe the child is more interested in mathematics class, but the child is not at all interested in English language class. So this is how developing his own learning strategies for learning his own interest subjects. So the need of this stage is to give them more and more chance to personalize their learning experiences in a better way. So how the experiences will actually groom their own personalities, and they will learn more and more in a very good way. So students, we have discussed about the important stages that were that was 0 to 6 years, then 7 to 9 years, then 10 to 12 years, and we have seen the characteristics and implications and need of that particular age. So when we are talking about developmental stages of learner, so it is really mean to be very significant from the point of view of a teacher, because the teacher has to plan how to teach the children. And if the teacher is not well planned, and if the teacher is not thinking about his age appropriate characteristics, implications, and need, then believe me that students teaching would also be less effective. So if all the proper things are taken in consideration while preparing the lesson plans, so students will learn more and more with effectiveness. Now MCQ's time, and now try to learn and solve these questions, different questions from developmental stages of learners also, and very general common questions which you have must have studied in your earlier classes also. So now first question is related to why is it important for children to interact with their immediate environment. Why it is important? Number one, because it allows them to communicate with others, because it allows them to learn language. Number three is because it allows them to develop new skills, because it allows them to make mistakes. So the correct answer is because it allows them to develop new skills. Then next question is what does scaffolding allow children to do? A. Appreciate social context and learn skills. B. Explore their environment. C. Make friends. And D. None of these. So the correct answer is A. Appreciate social context and learn skills. Now, next question is how did Piaget describe children? A. Like little adventurers, like small explorers, like little philosophers, like small scientists. So the correct answer is like small scientist. Then question number 4, which of the following statement is true according to Piaget? Children must complete each stage but in any order. Can miss some stages but must meet the last one. Must complete all stages by the time they are 5. Must complete all the stages in the same order. So the correct answer is D, must complete all the stages in same order. Now next question is Piaget's theory focuses on children developing what? Mental representations, language, cognitive schemas, theory of mind. So the correct answer is C, that is cognitive schemas. Now, next is Piaget's first stage occurs before school age. But which of the following is established at the end of this stage? A. Symbolic thought, mental maps, C. Spatial awareness, then none of these. So the correct answer is symbolic thought. Now these are the some references students from for your more study purpose, and I really hope that you have enjoyed knowing about developmental stages of learner and how the different tasks are related to different stages of learner. So students just learn it, and I really wish you all the best for learning. And just remember that students, that if you are learning about the developmental stages of learner, only then you will be a very good teacher. And it is really very important for you to become good teacher, because a good teacher is only that teacher who is making the students efficient for developing all the 4 areas which I have told you of the development, that were physical, mental, social, and emotional. So students, see you in the next class. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep learning. Thank you, students.